Y aquí seguimos en una jornada cargada de emociones.
Sí, porque es la primera vez en la historia que tendremos a una pareja que desde
Muy
la
buenos días, amigas y amigos. Bienvenidos a Abidjan Padel.
vienen ganando todos los partidos, remontando una final
gran
increíble.
Final masculina.
Esto no para, esto no para, esto que sigue, esto esto que es, impresionante, ¿qué es? Rompen y se ponen dos iguales. Hay un momento en el que parecía ganada, hay que jugar otra porque llegaron y defendieron.
No.
Impresionante.
¿Qué va?
¡Un taco, amigo! ¡Qué locura lo que acabo de hacer! Así te quiero.
Impresionante.
Y esto es lo que crea afición, amigas y amigos.
Mirá.
Claro que sí.
Qué lindo show.
Grítelo, Fede. Y aquí seguimos en una jornada cargada de emociones.
Sí, porque es la primera vez en la historia que tendremos a una pareja que desde
Muy
la
buenos días, amigas y amigos. Bienvenidos a Abidjan Padel.
vienen ganando todos los partidos, remontando una final
gran
increíble.
Final masculina.
Esto no para, esto no para, esto que sigue, esto que es, impresionante, ¿qué es? Rompen y se ponen dos iguales. Hay un momento en el que parecía ganada, hay que jugar otra porque llegaron y defendieron.
No.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're back at Club Padel Magic in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, Northwest Africa, a new territory for paddle globally, and Ivory Coast, Abidjan, their first paddle courts having been installed just under 2 years ago, and already a thriving paddle community. And right here, Club Padel Magic at the Les Centrales Tennis Club in Abidjan, in the beautiful suburb of Cocody, is host to this tournament that has been held from the 2nd of this month all the way through, culminating in today's semi-finals and finals, and lots of exciting paddle have been played leading up to this, the first semi-final of this tournament. And on court we have furthest on your screen, to the left, Egmond van Heerden, and to the right, Richard Ashworth, both from South Africa. Richard Ashworth originally from Durban, but both players playing out of Johannesburg, Gauteng, and Egmond van Heerden, a local Johannesburg boy, here in Abidjan for the very first time. No strangers to African qualifiers though, having competed in a few, but more about that a little bit later. Closest to your screen, to your left, Achem Maya, the number 2 rated player in Senegal, and Wael Ezzedine, rated 6 on the Senegalese Association rankings. Senegal, of course, having paddled for the last 6 years, a really fast developing level of paddle in the Republic of Senegal, and they play out of the club of Mama Padel in Dakar. These players, of course, here for the very first time the tournament's being held in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. And as I said earlier, the South Africans, no strangers to Africa qualifiers, having played in Dakar itself for the Africa qualifier for the Swiss Masters and having won it. A great victory for them, having just had recently paired up as a pairing just before that particular tournament, and went into it with a bang. Tough draw they had to face going into that tournament, but having had played in the Africa qualifier for the Swedish Masters, where they didn't quite get there, they were failed at semi-final stage, both with separate partners. They had some ranking points, and despite that ranking, had a difficult draw to overcome, but still reached the final and won that qualifier in Dakar, and off they went to the round of 32 at the A1 Padel Swiss Masters in Verbier. That was earlier in the summer, and they played in the round of 32, not having progressed further than that, having lost their first game, but invaluable experience for sure for the South African team. Closest to your screens, as I said, Achim Meyer, he was a finalist in that very qualifier in Dakar in Senegal, playing with a different partner, but he was a finalist and lost to Egmont van Heerden and Richard Ashworth. And to your right, Wael Ezzedine, who played also with a different partner and was a semi-finalist in that very same tournament. Now, having paired up with Achim Meyer, this is a formidable partnership, and just yesterday they took out Boris Castro and Nada Tan. Boris Castro, no other than the 101 ranked player on the WPT Tour, a Cameroonian international who plays based out of Spain in the WPT Tour, and having previously played on the A1 circuit, he joined us for this qualifier, and yesterday in a thrilling three-setter, Wael Ezzedine and Achim Meyer defeated them after they had a convincing progress right up until that stage. So pretty impressive. Testing three-setter in the grueling heat. There were evening matches, so players have had time to rest, both these pairings, but conditions are extreme, to say the least. 34 degrees now on the clock, and a humidity level of 94%. If you bring some soap with, you just got to stand in the sun, and you'll be able to literally be filled with liquids. It's incredible conditions there. Although you can see in the background through some of the camera angles, you'll be able to see some light breeze through the trees and the palm trees just behind the court. The reality is that the breeze is hot air, and it's not cooling and not having a cooling effect at all. So really grueling conditions, and these guys are really in for a hard time. Earlier on today, we had the two ladies semi-finals of the Padel Magic Ladies Invitational Tournament, and there were two great matches there. A local team from the Côte d'Ivoire, both tennis players having won their semi-final, reaching the final, and then the #1 ranked ladies team from Senegal also having won their semi-final. So they'll be meeting each other later on today, 17:30 local time. That's +2 Central African time, and they'll be meeting for the ladies final, and we will be streaming that for you right here. And regardless of where you're watching us, some options just in case. You can watch the streaming on the @padelmagic.ci Instagram account, or the @houseofpadel INT Instagram account. Alternatively, you can stay with me on the House of Padel YouTube channel, and you can enjoy some champagne paddle. Players have finished warming up their last bit of warm-up in there with the new balls, and they've now going to take refreshments. You'll see players on the left-hand side. Both teams allowed one coach at bench side, and you can see the South Africans eager to get going, back on court straight away, and the match will be umpired by Luke Potter. Luke Potter, the tournament director for the A1 Padel Cape Town Masters, and a veteran, one of the first African players to play in A1 Global Padel Tour. And certainly he played in this tournament today, this week, and having been knocked out at the quarterfinal stage, is now on umpire duties. That's Luke Potter. At stake here, a place in the final, and further on to that, a place in A1 Padel Global Tour Masters final 32 rounds. So lots to play for here by these players, and they'll be certainly going flat out at it. A little bit of rivalry, and stay with me as players come back on court. My name is Paulo de Carmo, and I'll be keeping you company as you enjoy the best of African paddle. Looks like Richard Ashworth and Egmont van Heerden have won the toss, and they'll be serving. Richard Ashworth will be serving to Wael Ezzedine. Big hit there from Egmont van Heerden. Ashemaya equal to the toss, touching the net there. 15-all the scoreline. Well, Ezzedine finds the gap into the back corner there. Egmont van Heerden slightly off balance there. High into the air. But Ashemaya between the legs. The Bachada down the middle, well defended there by Egmont van Heerden. Excellent retrieval down the back. And this time at the net, Egmont van Heerden with a block into the back of the glass. And we have an early potential of a break. At 15:40. And Richard watching the butterfly go by there on the grid. Ashemaya goes for the soft lob over Egmont van Heerden's head. Egmont looks for the back. Achem with the Bachada straight down the middle. Richard Ashworth reaches deep, unable to do anything with that. And we have a very early break as Wael Ezzedine and Ashemaya take the lead. 1 game to love in this first set. Early days still, but psychologically this has to affect the players. And if you've just joined us, Richard Ashworth and Egmont van Heerden won the toss, elected to bat. Or in this case, because we'd be talking about cricket if they were batting, and the South African team is not doing so well in the cricket today, they elected to serve and have dropped their serve in the first game. So we've got Ashemaya ball in hand, serving with the early advantage, 1-0. And Portres goes Wael Ezzedine. Excellent textbook shot there, excellent preparation, racket high, pointing into the air, straight down the middle and out of the court. For young players out there watching, that's the one to watch on replay. Off the glass goes Richard, waits in the center, ball goes out into the top of the net, and great point there. 15-all is the scoreline. Mai to van Heerden. That was a double fault. Highly unusual for Ashemaya, usually a very composed, very correct player, minimal mistakes in his repertoire. He'll certainly be upset with himself on a double fault. Not usual in general in the game of paddle at this level. Through the leg goes Egmont van Heerden, and Meyer into the net. .1540 and 3 counter break points. And again, Meyer into the glass with a serve, struggling with his serves. Highly unusual. As we mentioned earlier, Meyer, very, very calculated player. perhaps some of the exertions of yesterday's mammoth match are starting to tell. And as I say that, he proves me wrong by walking to the net and smashing that one into the double wall side, hard and low to the corner of Egmond van Heerden, and takes the score to 30-40. Still 2 break points on offer for the South African team for a counter break. Players requesting ball boy action there. Meyer with the bandeja and Richard Ashworth unable to control that, straight into the side tin, and we have a golden point. First golden point of the match. And Richard Ashworth has elected to receive. Return eye into the air, well blocked there. And Richard Ashworth with the block, lots of bottom spin on that. And Achim Meyer goes for the slightly faster bandeja and into the top of the net. And the counter break achieved. 1 game apiece. And as expected, a tough match in the offing. Hold on to your seats. Go and grab the popcorn and some refreshments, because it's going to get longer, better, and tougher. 15 love the scoreline. All, as Richard Ashworth attempts the drop shot there unsuccessfully, clips the top of the net. And while Zadine unable to control that double wall drop volley there, goes into the back of the glass. Excellent backhand there from Wael Ezzedine. Finding the blind side of Richard Ashworth. Wael Ezzedine also, although he's been playing paddle now for close to 4 years, has had a solid tennis background, having represented Senegal in tennis in his early years at youth level and junior level. So you'll see some of his play very much tennis orientated, his type of stroke play, and now adapting to the game to the sport of paddle in a very big way. And not quite there with that smash, and Richard Ashworth is able to punish that off the swivel, hard and low into the body of Achim Meyer. 2 games to 1. Lead Richard Ashworth and Egmond van Heerden. And players out for refreshment. While players are out on refreshment, players back on court, and while Ezzedine will be serving to Egmond van Heerden. 1-2 down in the first set. 2 early mutual breaks, first and second games. So honours even once again. 30 love. Okay, Maya wants to claim that and executes well the first one and doesn't do as well on the second one into the net. 30-15. Fault, only one. And into the top both. Senegalese players struggling with the height of the net. That's the 8th net shot from both of them at this early stage of the game. And Egmond van Heerden waits for the bounce off the wall, a little too short, well positioned at the net and into the ground and out of the court. And the South African team, Ashworth and van Heerden, with possibility of a break. And Egmond van Heerden finishing with a flick of the wrist and out of the court, setting this early advantage at 3-1. And Ashworth, ball in hand now, looking to press this advantage further in this first set. Ashworth coming back to van Heerden, discussing their plan. And this time, Ashworth finishes to the right of Ezzedine. Again, Ezzedine seems to be the point of destination for Richard Ashworth. This time tries a drop shot and doesn't quite get it over the net. 15 all the score. The progression of the South African pairing has been remarkable since Senegal. They've been playing back home in several local tournaments in South Africa as a pairing, and you can see a distinct difference in style and improvement in Senegal. For instance, Egmond van Heerden was playing on the left-hand side of the court with Richard Ashworth driving from the right, and now they've stopped. They look a more settled pairing, more relaxed, and certainly getting the job done. Very professional, as they have been in every round thus far in this tournament. Maya goes for the lift, trying to get it over Ashworth. This time hits the side glass. So 40-15 the scoreline. And while Ezzedine into the top of the net, and the advantage has been secured in very much a emphatic way by the South African team here. Senegalese team really struggling, hitting the net now 11 times since this match has begun, at the top of the net.
Y aquí seguimos en una jornada cargada.
Iguales. Hay un momento en el que parecía ganada. Hay que jugar otra porque llegaron y defendieron. No, impresionante.
¡Qué va!
Un taco, amigo.
Back on court. That was a beautiful promo there from A1 Padel. The A1 Padel Global, the most international paddle tour on the planet, as the A1 Padel visits 14 cities in 11 countries during 2023, a record for an international paddle tour. 4 continents, and a 5th one about to be added for 2024, the A1 Padel Global Tour. And here we have on the serve Achim Meyer, and love 15 is where we stand. And Achim Meyer says, enough of this. You're bullying me, and 15 all is what I want. $15.30. And the gap appears, and well, Ezzedine goes for it. This time over carries into the side glass. And Egmond van Heerden, 40-15 up. Ball high into the air. Richard Ashworth with the bachada straight down the middle, and just clipping the top edge of the glass. And beautifully executed, just slightly long. And 40-30 the scoreline. And well, Ezzedine goes again for that gap. Richard Ashworth is exposing a gap repeatedly on his left-hand side. Ezzedine looking to take advantage of it. He gets it right this time, and we have a golden point. Ezzedine to receive. And this time, Egmond van Heerden goes for the reverse in direction. And apologies, not a golden point. He goes for the reverse there and into the net. Mawe goes over the head of Richard Ashworth. Sends the ruler to the side, and Meyer able to deal with it really well. But this time the lob is overplayed. Van Heerden to Ezzedine. Goes down the middle. Hard and straight. Fortunate bounce there over the top of the net. And you can see there Egmond van Heerden apologizing. And now we have that golden point. And well, Ezzedine is going to receive. Egmond van Heerden to Ezzedine, who goes low and hard just over the net. Richard Ashworth tries to anticipate that, but goes into the net. And it's game Ezzedine and Meyer. And it's a break and potentially a comeback. Could it be? Players back on court, and well, Ezzedine will be serving now, looking to claw back this commanding advantage the South African team has. 2-4 is the scoreline. And they want to get back in this game. They will not be giving this up very, very easily. This team from Senegal are brave warriors, hard fighters. Testament yesterday, their quarterfinal win in a mammoth 3 sets after having dropped the first one 6 games, or having won the first set 6 games to 2 against the highest rated player on the tournament. And they then dropped the second set and came back in an emphatic fashion to win the third by 6 points to 3. That, of course, against the pairing of Boris Castro and Nader Tan. And Boris Castro, of course, WPT ranked player, based out in Spain, Cameroonian. So, of course, qualifies to be here in this Africa qualifier. And a player of the highest caliber. Beautiful shot there from Wael Ezzedine. Down the middle, Richard Ashworth equal to the task. Meyer with a good block at center there. This time goes for the reverse bandeja. Wael looks for the finish. Not quite got it. Egmont van Heerden trying to take the pace off it. Picks it up again into the corner and gets the point away. Brilliant play there. Intelligent play there by the South African. Drawing the player out of position and finalizing it. Ezzedine now to Ashworth. A little bit too long. And this time Van Heerden with the overhit on the block, straight into the glass. And we have a golden point. And Richard Ashworth is elected to receive. And crucial golden point here for Ezzedine and Meyer. Goes down the center. And good return there from Richard Ashworth. Goes high, ball falls just in the center, and the return from Meyer unable to sustain it. as we come back to you with a beautiful score point there. South Africans go 15-love up after securing the first set by 6 games to 2. Egmont van Heerden down the middle there with his trademark backhand volley, and this time Richard van Ashworth again goes off the glass, and there's a Dean equal to the task, this time van Heerden with the error. 15 all. Beautiful bachada there from Egmont van Heerden. And Richard Ashworth at the net, spraying it left and right. This time just forcing it into the glass. Meyer goes high. Ashworth with the power, misjudges that into the net. And 3 potential break points here as Ashworth gets ready to go to Ezadeen. And we have an early break. Love. And great return there from Van Heerden. Unfortunately, out of position, both the Senegalese players at the net, able to punish it straight back to the depth of the court. Van Heerden digging that from right under his toes.